Brian likes chocolate too.
Yeah, I love chocolate. So for the listeners, you were the one that kind of um, got this company on the board. So it's cool. I think a lot of listeners will like it. It's with a chocolatier. It's M Cacao, and they're actually out of Amesbury, Massachusetts. And their biggest highlight so far is that they provided these essentially chocolate boxes, right, with a video message in it that you can personalize. It was at the Grammys this past year.
Yeah, the
Literally coming.
Oscars.
It was the Grammy. Oh, it was the Oscars. The
Oh yeah,
Oscars,
no, it's Grammy and the Oscars.
both of them.
Yeah.
So they had a whole bunch of, obviously musicians, well-known celebrities, and everything else like that on there. But they were one of basically only Massachusetts company that was out there as part of this. So we'll get to learn a little bit more about them. But just for the listeners,
Thank you, Gail.
All right, I'm here.
All right. Well, glad to have you on now that we can see you.
All right.
So, first of all, we want to start off by saying we have Michael Nichols, right?
Yeah.
And we have Chef Delphine. Is it
Delphin
Gomes?
Yeah.
Delphin
Yeah.
Gomes. Delphin Gomes. Well, thank you for coming on the Three Guys podcast. We did a little bit of an intro before we started. My brother did. You're from M Cacao Chocolate, right?
Yeah.
Right.
And so, we just wanted to, like I said, I was in touch with your publicist, which I was telling my brother. I said, once I know you get a publicist, you've made it big, right? Because we don't have a publicist.
Well, we're trying.
no, you're making big waves there.
Yes, you are.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's there's so much. I mean, you guys got to be in from being in the Grammys and the Oscars, which we'll get to. I think that's the obviously, and then making the great chocolate that you do, but like taking it back to the beginning, how this all developed and how you guys connected together, and we'd like to kind of jump into that to see how that that happened. Maybe you guys can kind of talk a little bit about some of the experiences that you guys had along the way to get you to in this field, and then how you guys connected together on this.
Well, Mike, you can start, Mike. Then I go.
Well, I think the story really starts with you, Chef. I mean, you started with
So let
chocolate
me.
pastry a long time ago.
So basically, okay, I'm a trained pastry chef. I've been trained in France. I started my profession at the age of 14 in Burgundy.
So that's like 10 years ago.
That yes.
Yes. You look great for your age.
Sure. Anyway, so I start and I went to train for a pastry chef. I get my master's in pastry in Paris or so. And then I moved to the States in 1981. And I start my adventures in the US in Los Angeles for 4 years. And then I moved here to, I didn't like LA, so I moved here to the Boston area, to Marblehead. And at the time actually I was like looking for a job. I didn't have yet those things in mind, those grandiose dreams. But at the time, really, in that field in pastry was very bad. Was nothing in the 80s. The food and the pastries, all that, the wine, all that stuff was nothing. So was very kind of depressing for me. So I decided to start my own. So I then opened my first pastry shop in Marblehead, and then I went on to open my second shop in Brookline. And along the way, I also was teaching at the BU, in the culinary program. And after a while,
Got a friend there.
Yeah.
After a while, it's like, okay, I need people were asking all types of questions about the product. They didn't understand what I was doing, basically, you know. And I knew it needs a lot of education. We need to do something about it. So I start little by little. I start to shut down my retail shops, and I opened my school in Marmalade. I opened a pastry school. So that was the beginning, and it outgrow, you know, outgrow very fast. So I moved the school I moved the school to Cambridge, in collaboration with at the school at Cambridge School of Culinary Art, and I stayed there for about 20 years. Along the way, I did a lot just in pastries, and I did a lot of competitions and everything in pastry. I did pastries for the couple French presidents, American presidents, Bush, George Bush, and everything. But anyway, so I get that school going in Cambridge, and it was really was a big success. Was big. And one day, I had a guy who came to my school to be my student, and that guy was Mike. Mike Nichols, you know. So anyway, we went through the program, and I asked him, so what are you going to do with it? You know, what are you going to, now that you want to learn chocolates and everything? So, and he told me, one day I want to have a chocolate business. And he went on, you know, he graduated and everything, and things went, I continue my stuff, he continued stuff. And sooner or later, one day, I hear from him. We get in touch again, and he was about to start this venture, which he started out of his house. I think he traveled to Peru and everything to learn. I mean, he fell in love with chocolate over there too, but that is a story that he can tell you. But in any case, so we get together and we start this. We were going to start actually in Newburyport, and then COVID happened, and so we have to switch gears, and that's how we end up in Salisbury, Amesbury. I'm sorry, and
I wish you were in Salisbury.
so that's how we got together. So now Mike can take from here and tell you guys how we get here. Unless you have any questions.
Yeah,
we do. Well, I have plenty of questions, but I want to hear from Michael.
Okay.
So yeah, so for my part of it, I trained as a engineer, but my whole life I love chocolate. But I trained as an engineer like my dad, and I went into engineering. I started a automation business. We did robotics for drug discovery, and that was fun. And I did that for a number of years. And I kind of got a little bit bored of it, and so just happened that a few summers ago we went on a family trip to Peru, and we visited a chocolate museum where they were making chocolate, and it was okay, but it was really cool that they were making chocolate out of local cacao, and I thought that was really cool. And so one night I couldn't sleep, and it just occurred to me that what I could do next is I could do chocolate. And it was really a really strange thought for me, because I had always been like, okay, I'm doing this path, and all of a sudden I was like, well, I could do something completely different. It's crazy. So in the morning, I told my wife, I said, what if I did chocolate? And she's like, yeah, go for it. I was like, okay. So so as soon as we got back to the States, I started looking at schools that I could enroll in and just learn about it. And I looked at a few, and And I went to the, Chef Delphin's program to see what that was about. And he got up at the front of the class and he started talking about his program. And as soon as he started, I knew that I had to study under him. He was just
Wow.
like, he just had this, you could see the passion and the depth of knowledge and the mastery. You could see it instantly. And I was just completely drawn to it. So I enrolled in his program. I did his year-long professional pastry program. And yeah, and I remember when he asked me, "What are you going to do with this?" I said, "I'm going to do chocolate." He said, "Okay." So I graduated and then started kind of dabbling in it, and really continued to love it more and more. And when it was time to really try to make a splash, I knew that I wanted to team up with someone who really had this incredible depth and uh, this expertise, this knowledge, this passion for it, the same that I had. And so I called Chef and I said, "What do you think? You want to work with together and do something crazy?" And he said, "Yeah, let's do it." And so so we started talking about, well, how are we going to do it? And we would start talking about the ultimate chocolate shell, and that was going to be what we did in Newburyport. Um, and that was 2019, right?
Yeah.
And so we started planning this. It was going to be amazing. It was going to be
Yeah.
awesome. And we had the architects in. We had the whole thing planned, and then COVID hit, and it was such it just like upended the whole world, and we didn't know what was going to happen, when things were going to what when or if anything would ever turn to normal again. And so we kind of decided to switch gears and think about, okay, maybe like an e-commerce business where our customers are all over the country. And that's where that's the direction we went in, and we found the space in Amesbury and built that out and started just kind of experimenting and working together and figuring out.
Creating. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Um, and then we're continuing to do that now. And really trying to get out there now we think we have some cool stuff that is ready for the world, you know.
Yeah, we understand very well each other, so we complement each other when we
Hmm.
have
Right.
ideas, how where you want to take it, how you want to develop, and that's what makes us to, in a way, to come up with interesting and
Sure.
wild and an amazing product. Because it's like, I don't think like an engineer, I think,
Yeah.
and you don't think like me,
Right.
but together we really can. It's an amazing team, basically. I fully
Yeah.
understand, you understand me, and we
Hmm.
can demand, we can really create a lot of things, and then
Yeah.
it's by yourself you could not, in a way, you know what I'm saying?
Sure. I mean, that's a
Exactly.
bit.
Yep.
Yeah. I mean, you guys complement each other in a lot of
Yeah.
ways. I mean,
Yeah.
obviously Delphin from all your pastry experience, and then Michael, just like you're, doing what you're doing, and like, what is it, robots, like robotics,
Hmm.
was it that you were in? So like you said, you're down one path. So I'm sure you were super analytical, just, looking down that way, to like, to your
That's a
point.
big move. That's a big change from
Yeah.
Yes, it is.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
huge. And then
Yeah.
for you to jump into that, and then like you guys to connect, I mean, that's a huge part. And then typically also what happens in that, a lot of things, whether it's teams
I
or
knew, as a student, I knew what kind of, a little, he was one of my best students, so I could see I said, yeah, this is there is a lot of potential here.
Yeah.
So
right.
I'm not at the end. We have a lot of things left to do, and it was so many, it's challenging, but at the same time, such an opportunity to do stuff that is not out there,
Right.
Yeah, exactly.
in a way,
Yeah, and
and
that's
we are not, it's like we are not coming at it like, okay, well, just let's make candy, let's make just let's make chocolate. We don't approach it that way.
Sure.
Our product, we want, everybody in any business, oh, I want to do the best, I want to be the best, or we are the best, whatever. We don't approach we approach like our product first. It's like, okay, it's like our chocolates, we don't call that stuff, okay, it's just chocolate. To us, it's like food,
Right.
it's not sugar, it's not this. We approach it with like, it's food, and so it's a lot more you can do with it that way.
Yeah, and one of the things that where Chef and I are very well aligned is we, like Chef said, we're not just trying to make candy or whatever, like just bang out just some product. We're both trying to express ourselves with what we're doing, and we want what we're doing to reflect. We have something to say.
Sure.
We're trying to we're put ourselves into it, and so it's meaningful for both of us.
You guys are artists,
Yeah,
That's you want to express yourself. It's a labor of love that you both enjoy. I can tell, and who doesn't like chocolate, right?
Right.
So,
exactly. It's the ultimate medium.
yeah, exactly, right. I mean, how can you have a bad day in the chocolate when you're doing what you're doing, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I'm an attorney. I have to deal with other people. What do you yell at the chocolate? The chocolate, it's and if it doesn't come out right, you just do it again, and you know what? It gets better and better, and I can tell that the labor of love of you guys love what you do.
Well,
and every day
sometimes you
it's
yell
like
at
that,
sometimes you yell at the chocolate.